Something this sweet deserves to be shared. But the story I've got tonight might leave you wondering what's hidden just beneath the surface.
Hey little pits, pull up a chair here at Peachy Plates, where Southern charm, good food, and a spooky tale always find its way to the table. Tonight we're having a banana pudding, creamy, thick, and rich, and some ghastly tales from Lake Lanier.
Banana pudding's not just a dessert, it's a ritual. It starts simple, a layer of cookies at the bottom, dry and crumbly now, but give them time and they'll soften, soaking up every bit of sweetness around them. They're the foundation, like memories pressed into the earth, still there even when you can't see them. Then comes the bananas, ripe, golden, sliced thin. Their flavors light but unmistakable. Without them, the pudding feels hollow, like something's missing. They remind me of the small things, a glance, a whisper, a ripple in the water. It can stay with you long after the moment has passed. The custard flows next, smooth and golden, covering the layers beneath. Some parts get hidden, others stay visible, but everything is bound together. That's how stories work too. Truth and rumor layered so tightly, you can't always tell where one ends and the other begins. And just when you think you've reached the end, the crown goes on top. A cloud of cream, soft and light, sealing everything underneath. Sweetness on the surface, but we all know the top never tells the whole story. Sometimes what's buried beneath is what lingers the longest. Banana pudding has patience built into it. You've got to let it rest, let the flavors sink into one another. The longer it sits, the deeper it gets. Just like tales that grow heavier with time, always waiting, always there, just under the surface. So when the spoon finally sinks through, it's more than just a bite of comfort. It's a taste of something layered, something old, something that stays with you. And that's where our story begins.
Golden wafers softened into cream, the bananas so light and fluffy. This dessert is truly one of the South's best desserts. Do you want to try it out with me? Now this was my first time making it, so I really hope it came out well. Though I will admit halfway through I did mix it up and I accidentally put real milk in here instead of the condensed. It's very, very creamy and it's very smooth. The vanilla is just the right amount, it's not overpowering. And the bananas, they're very subtle in it. The wafers too, they're nice and fluffy, but the top crunch is just enough. Let's try this wafer. This is so good. And it was so easy to make, y'all. Vanilla pudding, vanilla extract, some Cool Whip, some bananas, some wafers. And you have one of the South's best treats, best delicacies. I definitely recommend it, definitely try it out. Check out the montage if you didn't, because it does go through the recipe for you.
Tonight's tea is Pineapple Blues. Blueberry and pineapple laced through a warm green tea. As it pours, the color deepens and the steam curls like a ghost rising from the cup. The flavor starts bright, almost playful, but there's a hush beneath it. Something that lingers on the tongue, like a secret you're not meant to know. Sweet, sharp, and just a little haunting, the kind of taste that follows you even after the cup is empty.
Let's get some tea here. Today we have some pineapple blues. It is a Tiesta blend. Tiesta is one of my favorite brands, so you will probably hear about them a lot. They have this little bulk pack, which is really cool, so we are trying this one out today. It's supposed to be like a mix of blueberry and pineapple in a green tea, so hopefully it'll be pretty good. Pretty excited to try it. I always do put a little bit of honey in the bottom of my cup, so if you're ever wondering if I sweeten it, yes, and it's honey. This tea is very nice. It definitely has some blueberry over it. It's very vibrant with the blueberry, and the pineapple has some tones underneath. But I feel like the pineapple lingers on the tongue a little bit more. I would definitely say it probably has more of a citrus taste to it versus that fruity tart taste. So if you like citrus, this may definitely be one for you to try.
Lake Lanier wasn't born gently. In the 1950s, Buford Dam was raised on the Chattahoochee River, and the water began to climb. Trees that had stood for generations drowned, their roots devoured, their branches reaching upward like skeletal hands until the water swallowed them whole. Roads vanished, bridges stretched into nothing, and homesteads that once echoed with voices disappeared in weeks. Fields that had fed families for generations turned to silence. Even the resting places of the dead were claimed by the rising water. Headstones were moved, but the ground beneath still held its secrets, sinking beneath the water with everything else. When the water finally stilled, more than 38,000 acres of fertile land were gone. But the lake doesn't keep its secrets forever. Every so often, when the water runs low, foundations peek through the mud, and sometimes even the peak of a church steeple pierces through the surface like a warning finger, pointing back at what was buried. Since the lake's creation, more than 100 lives have been claimed. Some vanish without a trace, only leaving the belief that this lake never truly rests.
Roads were suddenly ended. Walls were left with no homes standing around them. The fields that once fed families for generations were sunken underneath the waters. But after the waters rose, that's when the stories began. The whispers of the lights, the splashes in the dark, the ghost in the distance, and the fish that can eat a person whole. Some of the very first tales were the lights, the glimmers in the distance, the lights that went nowhere, no lanterns, no boats. Fishermen swore that they could chase them out into the lake, but all they were met with was silence and stillness. Some say the lights lead you away like will-o-wisps to a darker place and to lure you into the depths. Some claim the spirits drift above the lake, floating until they blink out, leaving only dark silence. Then the splashes, sudden, loud, echoing across the still waters. No swimmers, no storms, just the sound of something breaking through when nothing is there at all. Divers have even experienced similar phenomena in the water. Sudden movements and pushes, it feels like something is tumbling beneath them. Some say it even feels like the water itself is pushing against them as if it were alive. Sweet on the tongue, but the thought makes your stomach turn. But of all the tales, the one that haunts me the most is the lady in blue. In the 1950s, 2 girls went out to a party, but they never made it home. A few weeks later, one was discovered deceased in the lake, but the other one would not be found for over 20 years. The last thing that she was remembered wearing was her friend's blue dress. Years later, the divers went into the lake and they found her car with her skeletal remains inside. But people say she didn't leave with the car. Her head was missing, and so the myth says that she walks down the bridge looking for her missing head. If she happens to see you, if you're driving across, and if your car happens to be unlocked, she will get inside. When she gets inside, your steering will be taken over. When your steering is taken over, you're likely to crash. They say that it's because she is going to take you with her to the depths. Others say it's because she's looking for her head to replace hers. Ghosts aren't the only terror. Some say the darkest things live below. Catfish. No, not the kind you fry. Large, shadowy creatures lurking in the deep. Divers claim to see them large as buses moving through the murk. There's even a story about a chicken chuck that plunged into the lake years ago. When rescuers went down, they said the catfish were feeding, some larger than a person, eating the chicken's whole. Legend says these catfish have grown even bigger in size since then, are able to snap a fishing line in half without a ripple, and can pull a human down and swallow him whole without anyone ever knowing. Maybe these are just stories. Maybe the lights are a trick. Maybe the lady is just a story of grief and mourning. Maybe the catfish are only fishermen's exaggerations, but maybe not. So what about you, little pits? Would you dare to swim in Lake Lanier? Or worse, would you go at night? Well, that's it for the very first episode of Peachy Plates. If you've enjoyed yourself, I hope you hit that like and subscribe button, and we'll see you in our next episode. Sweet bites and spooky nights, sit, eat, and stay peachy.